Ohio Governor Mike DeWine lays out his priorities in this year's State of the State address.
It's a budget that focuses on our people, on our families, and our children.
The areas he's urging lawmakers to invest in. 56 years after its founding, members of the Ohio Legislative Black Caucus are still fighting disparities that have existed since the 1960s.
Much of the work we do has long-term implications for everyone.
How their work has ripple effects beyond the black community. And sexual abuse survivors of Ohio State Dr. Richard Strauss are fighting to take their stories to the court of public opinion.
We're trying to spread information, and we're trying to make them do the right thing.
Why they say their message is being silenced.
The longest-running political show in Central Ohio starts now. This is NBC4's The Spectrum.
Survivors of Ohio State Dr. Richard Strauss are still waiting for their day in court, but are now facing a battle to get their stories to the court of public opinion. We'll tell you why they say they're being silenced when we come back. Sexual assault survivors of former Ohio State University Dr. Richard Strauss are still waiting for their day in court. And now they say they're having trouble getting to the court of public opinion. Some of the men who are among the hundreds assaulted by the doctor over a 20-year period created a GoFundMe account to pay for billboards. But as Colleen Marshall tells us, you won't be seeing them because the survivors say no one wants to share their message.
We're trying to spread information, and we're trying to make them do the right thing. Meaningful changes, and promising us that they're going to stop these silly actions that they've been doing from 2018 on.
Stephen Snyder-Hill is one of several hundred plaintiffs locked in a 5-year legal battle with OSU, accusing the university of turning a blind eye to what Dr. Richard Strauss was doing to young men, then covering up for him, and then lying about it. Some of the Strauss survivors are still anonymous.
I was an athlete at Ohio State. Had to deal with them for 4 years. So, unfortunately, he groomed us from the day we got there.
Now they want to share their outrage. They created a Survivors of OSU website, and to promote it, a GoFundMe page to pay for a billboard calling Strauss a predator and OSU trustees his protector. They say they couldn't find a billboard company willing to sell them sign space.
I mean, it makes me understand what we're up against. The entity that we're up against, the Ohio State University, has their grips on people, and people are terrified of them.
But OSU spokesman Ben Johnson said the university is not involved in any way with blocking the billboards, saying, as I am sure you know, other groups have purchased billboards criticizing Ohio State. The university has not and would not get involved in such a matter. An agent who sells billboard space, though, tells me he couldn't get any local outdoor sign companies to accept the anti-OSU billboards, even after the survivors toned down the message to simply display their website. The agent says the companies fear legal reprisals.
Really, the billboard was meant to get a visceral reaction. It was the sex abuse champs of 1978 to present. And that's what we wanted it to be, because that's what they really are. I mean, they've done this for 40 years now. But basically, every time we would submit a design, it would be, I've got to talk to a supervisor.
We don't get the support from the community because the community doesn't know what's going on. So we're hoping that this gives a little exposure to the situation and people start calling the Board of Trustees and saying, hey, what are you guys doing? You need to support these guys.